so
25,
meeting
yeah.
minutes. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion we accept the minutes as mailed.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public comment? No? Yes?
No.
Manifest and payroll?
Make a motion we accept manifest and payroll as presented.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excellent.
Shall we sign?
Yes.
If that door's bothering anybody, we can close it. I just did it for the air.
The air is lovely today.
Yeah.
All right, so this is supplement commitments. Is that part of,
Manifest and payroll.
is it?
No,
Yes.
What commitment is it?
Top of the stack there.
Oh, it's just the receivables commitment.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
manifest and payroll.
Moving along. Oh, yes, right. Last but not least.
AP manifest.
Send that over.
All right, new business?
New business.
And if I could suggest, there's an audit management letter to sign in between Chris's two presentations, so why don't we just do that after?
Okay.
And Chris is here, he's gonna talk about the
I think I missed one.
horizontal asset
Those
study.
that- Yeah,
I think one went without me.
possibly.
Please.
I think one
Oh,
went
one
without me.
signature piece?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe I got them all.
Nope.
Oh, we're good.
Awesome.
So the vertical asset management project is ready for a report out, and Chris is here to do that. And then all three of us met with USDA RD representatives today. It was very
Mhm.
informative, so we'll all collectively give you a report on
Good.
that.
It was a
Yes,
very sad email.
yes.
Yeah, but there's
It is
still
what it
some
is.
light at the end of the
Yeah,
tunnel.
okay.
It was a good meeting.
You could just sit in the comfy chair.
Yeah, that's why.
Have a seat here? I did have to work, so. But, this is,
And this is a 50/50 grant reimbursement from
Yeah.
CES.
yeah. No, you got it. Alright. And so, this is just a set of slides that summarize the effort that was completed as part of the project. New Hampshire Drinking Water SRF Fund has a set of matching grant funds. I just said that.
Yeah.
Can you hear me over there?
We got
Okay.
folks at home, maybe.
Yeah, microphone.
Oh, there's a microphone, I forgot.
Yeah.
In front
And
of us.
so, there's matching grant funds, and as part of this project, the total project cost is about $30,000. There's a matching 15% or $15,000 component to the effort that was applied through here. So the whole thrust of the project really was to take a look at what you guys had and catalog the hydrants and the valves that are in the system. Take a look at condition, manufacturer, installation date, and sort of wrap our heads around what's in the system, what do you want the system to be, and if there are deficiencies, how can we get them corrected in sort of an efficient and cost-effective manner. And also, while doing that, taking this information and integrating it into your ArcGIS data set. And so moved the GIS information that was on sort of a desktop on it and moved it into that ArcGIS Online environment, which you guys, I believe, have seen, and taken advantage of that data collection, that real-time cloud capability, which is really, you can lever amazing things. And I think you guys are taking great advantage of right now. And so what we did so we can sort of just go down through the project here, is project overview here. It's really just, so we had meeting transferred, sort of transform the information from the sort of desktop, network-based into cloud-based. And then conducted a little bit of training for ArcGIS Online, got Jason's guys trained up and off and running to collect a lot of that data. Helped out with data collection, developed the information and started taking a look at the data itself and said, all right, well, what does it look like? How can we refine this information? What are the real parameters? What are the metrics to say, all right, how are we evaluating this information? So next couple slides are just sort of snapshots of what ArcGIS Online looks like. I believe you guys have already seen this information. So the next one is ArcGIS Collector. This is the app from the tablets and that's how they've been collecting the information using that application. The next one is a replacement criteria, so taking a look at what both the hydrants and the valves, what's that criteria that says, all right, this needs to come out, or looking at either replacement or a repair. And really from the hydrants, it's manufactured Ludlow. Ludlow hydrants are all sort of pre-1950s or prior to installed. There's not a lot of parts kicking around for those, so
Those are the first replacements, right?
exactly. Yeah.
So I take it we've never done a evaluation of these before.
No, not all. Whole hog.
Okay, just wanted to check on that, yeah.
This is the first go for Plymouth Village here.
Mhm.
So
If it's not broke, don't fix it approach before.
Right, okay. All right, so
So-
we're
Well, at
getting
least
more
there's only
uniform.
8% of them that have to
yeah.
come out.
So we're getting more, well, do you strive for uniformity, or do we just accept that these variety of manufacturers are all acceptable, remain acceptable?
So I think moving towards at least, I think the standards that you guys have in place right now, there's 3 set of hydrants, right? So, moving to at least minimize the amount of infrastructure that you have to maintain, replace, and keep stock of is definitely a good thing. Specifying necessarily around one specific manufacturer, I don't think is necessary,
Mhm.
but definitely minimizing the amount
Yeah,
of stuff
Right.
that you have to maintain.
It kind of marks the different decades almost of installation throughout town. So, one 10-year period, they might use the Ludlow, they might use the Mueller, a Kennedy, or so on and so forth. So it's
Mhm.
kind of give us a quick indication as to the age of the system as well by seeing the hydrants.
Just by looking at what
Yeah.
the hydrant is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Why is opening in a clockwise direction bad?
Because everything else opens in the
Opens
other
in-
direction.
Because if they're frozen, then you may tend to,
Yeah.
you don't know which,
Right, if the fire department got on it and they didn't know better,
right.
they'd be saying this one's stuck, it's not opening. And
Right.
Okay.
meanwhile, it's in the wrong
Yeah.
direction.
Time
ta-
is-
Can we tag those for the fire department that they open clockwise
Yeah,
with a metal tag on them or something?
we're gonna go through and replace
on the
those.
hydrant itself, there is directionality arrows,
Okay.
but at 2 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah, those are,
Yeah.
well, that's why I was thinking more like a big
Yeah.
silver tag hanging off the thing or
We
something.
painted a different color.
Right, put the arrows
That could
in.
be a temporary fix, but I think the plan is to,
Right, I
Yeah.
get that, but I mean, if we've got a situation where
and there's,
they're trying to put out a fire and they can't open the hydrant, it would be
Right.
good
they
to
have been
make
doing
sure
it
we
this way
got
for a long
the,
time now.
Yeah.
well, if we can minimize the,
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean,
And so
just a
the
bizarre question.
the opening direction, the Ludlows in particular, and the non-functionality. That's really, if it's
Yeah, if it doesn't work,
a problem,
probably
you want to
wanna
replace
replace
it. Exactly.
Mhm.
So
right, the non-functionality is they don't release water as fast as the others.
Is it just because they're all gummed up and gross, or they're just
Well, there
old
could
and
be
crappy?
there could be many factors involved in that. It could be line
Just-
size up to the hydrant, but yeah, most of it's just worn out components.
Components.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
valve stem's busted or
Mm.
something like that. So
As witnessed by the next page.
yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So if there's a repair noted, from a repair standpoint, if there was something, the crew was out there and said, oh, well, the top nut's stripped on this valve, but the valve's still in good component, just replace the top nut.
Right.
You don't need to replace the whole valve. So, and then the next slide is really just a snapshot of where that infrastructure is, where the parts and pieces are that were in need of repair. So there's really not, if you take a look at this in comparison to all the infrastructure that you have, valve and hydrant infrastructure that you actually have in place, there's not a gigantic amount of components there. So
That need to be
next
replaced.
slide, yes, yeah. So the next slide is actually the count.
Oh, can you back up? The
go
legend,
ahead.
the symbol just means one valve there, right?
Correct. Yes.
So we only have 5 need repair?
Your house
Correct.
and mine.
Five valves.
I was
but all
noticing
the
that.
green-
I'm
all
like,
the green hydrants should probably get replaced.
There's 15.
Yeah, so the next slide there is a list of the actual number. So there's 18 hydrants that really should be replaced. 4 valves need replacement and 6 valves need repair. So there might be a couple that are stacked on top of each other in that figure in particular. But the total cost, assuming these unit costs, is about $115,000 worth of work.
That's parts and labor here?
Yes.
This is just parts, right?
This will be both.
Okay.
Yep. So,
Jason, what's your thoughts on how fixed this cost is? I mean, you get in there, replacing the valve, all of a sudden something else breaks.
Yeah, it is, it is not nailed in stone.
Sure,
It
plus
is-
or minus a percentage of what do you think it is?
Yeah, I'd say typically it's 10%
Okay.
plus or minus.
Yep.
yeah. So anyhow, and if we look at, all right, how does this impact your rates? Looking at it from a financial implementation standpoint, the district is moving, just went through a sort of cycle of water meter replacements, and there's about $30,000, $25,000.
Yeah, $30,000.
$30,000
Yeah.
annually that was allocated towards that. So if you continue that allocation and move into this cycle in 5 years, you want to replace do all the repairs and replacements associated with what we've found here, then there's really no impact
Or
moving
just do it.
forward.
Right,
Yes,
or just do it
that's
if it
one
needs to be
approach, yeah.
done, so.
So there you go. So there's a couple of different ways you can look at it. Just say,
Yeah.
all right, well, it's really not that big of a project. You can put this together, get a bid from a contractor, and get it done.
What's the lifespan of a hydrant?
Typically 30 to 50 years, depending on what similar to the pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When did the Ludlows go in?
They were probably about
17 years ago.
Yeah, 1950s,
Does water quality have anything to
1960s.
do with it?
So the,
Pardon?
Lifespan?
Would water
Yeah.
quality have anything to
Yep.
do with it?
Absolutely. And the amount of exercise as well.
Right.
you've been out, you all have been exercising valves throughout the district.
Yep, we actually, this spring, was the first time, I think, in forever that we actually went out and did a dedicated valve exercising program where we actually went street to street and exercised valves. In the past, from what John and Gary recall, is that they've really never touched the valves unless they needed to. So we have exercised the valves, and as you know, the hydrant flushing program went from a 2-night overnight type program to now a 3-week-long program where we actually touch every single hydrant.
And ran them more expensively.
Yeah, and we, as a result, we've had a much more efficient hydrant flushing, little to no complaints for dirty water.
Awesome.
And it's been, I think,
Is it lasting longer between flushes doing it this way? Or are you still on the same schedule?
still on the same schedule, but we're actually getting a more efficient flush. So we're actually calculating the distance of the line and how much water is estimated to be in that line.
Right.
Right.
And that's how long we're
With
flushing
flushing it
if we
for.
have the rate, so that we know we're cleaning that entire section. Whereas in the past they flushed until the water cleared up, which it might have moved sediment from halfway down the pipe and then it
But
settled
not,
out there
right.
again. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
We also notified the folks that have called in the past with brown water and problems with laundry. We can let them all know. So I don't think we had any calls. I didn't hear that we had any.
That's great.
Yeah, I didn't notice any
I didn't either.
on our when you were doing that.
Yep.
that we
So
this
that
last round.
enhanced flushing, as well as with the use of the orthopolyphosphate, I think that helps tremendously as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're
All
doing
those
good.
icky rust stains on the inside of the toilet that you can't get off, I don't have them anymore. It's cleaning up my
Excellent.
toilets. Like, this is wonderful stuff.
You're right.
Let's keep putting that in there.
All right.
It's
Yeah,
completely
so-
natural.
There you go.
It is, yeah.
I like it.
So, the next step's really, sort of what do you do moving forward here? Is really keeping after the data collection and maintaining the integrity of the database that you guys have, spent the time and effort in bringing up to
You
this-
had
this level.
mentioned putting into GIS
I-
the repairs and,
We
the
talked-
dates
we
of
talked about
repair
that,
and stuff like that, which follows along with what we're talking about
Right,
here.
right.
Yeah, and that's kind of the next step is where we're going to with this
Right.
whole asset management program.
Yep.
We'll be doing the sewer vertical infrastructure coming up. The application Chris is going to submit by the
So we're
next
talking
week.
about the manholes and
Yep.
down.
Yeah,
so
so-
we'll be doing that this year, and then the next round of applications is December for the water.
Okay.
So next year, we're looking at potentially getting funds together to get a software program for asset management that we can tie in as well, potentially with Kim's work orders, so that she'll be able to send work orders out into the field live time and be able to get them on our maps.
Wow, we're
Novel.
going to be in the 21st century.
Yeah, and that'll integrate, exactly, it'll integrate that work order information, get it tied to an asset, and then you can
Yep.
track and keep track of depreciation and, what you put into this piece of pipe versus this piece of pipe versus.
Right.
So you can really do some
Very
good
cool.
data management.
Yeah, some good
system
statistical
management.
analysis and
So there's some
Make-
really powerful stuff you can do once, and it really helps tremendously with planning and really keeping your capital
Yeah.
it really helps with decision making as well, because
Right,
you have
you
all
don't
that
have to
data.
guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So how much do we think we should put for this?
So the next set of that Jason was talking about in December, there's a $20,000 matching grant opportunity. I think you guys have appropriated 30 for this year, so you can keep it at 30, the effort. Or if you want to, if moving forward in the following year, if you allocated another 10, honestly, you could probably do that in the spring and kick it off in the spring and get that.
Just keep that level of appropriation so
Yeah.
the money's there
Yeah,
if
exactly.
we
Yeah.
get a grant.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes,
Yeah.
makes perfect
Yeah, it
sense.
does.
So, and sort of just continue sort of putting some money aside associated with this. I think it's a
Very
valuable
cool.
way to keep this one moving forward. But there's doing a bit of, once we get the Foster Street well improvements together, and we've got the Foster Street water main work that's going to happen later this year, having that information up in the GIS, and we can do some assessments based on what you guys have, the new Foster Street
Yeah, because that's going to totally
infrastructure.
change
That'll
what
change,
the,
exactly. So
And really,
start fresh on that.
want to thank the board too for allowing us to do this. Where I believe the district is really at the forefront right now of this technology, and we're being recognized throughout the state for what we're actually doing.
Yeah, that was actually
Very
the
cool.
question I was going to ask is for a municipality
Yeah.
of our size.
how
Or,
many
you know,
are
or
doing
how-
this.
Yeah, no, Luis Adorno, the guy who runs the drinking water SRF program on the asset management side, has really been a big advocate of you guys in moving forward, a couple of these projects forward.
That's always good.
He points to you guys as you're doing a good job with this.
Yeah, I've had other municipalities calling me and asking questions on stuff, and I've been consulting on some of the things. So,
Cool.
so yeah, it's
with
been
the energy auditing you guys are doing
Yeah.
here. It's
Yeah.
these are definitely being
Great.
progressive. It's great.
Mhm.
Yay.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Good on the asset management, so
I guess that brings us to Foster Street.
Foster Street, yeah. 5:45. Well, we spent a few weeks struggling with USDARD with our medium household income and trying to get the numbers so that their numbers would work to give us grant and loan. That's what it's all for. And so we had an hour-long meeting with them today, and please, you guys jump in. Feel free to jump in. Basically, this this grant, this project, $621,000, is small enough in dollars so that when you put our household income and our debt service and the size of the project into their spreadsheet, the USDARD, we come up with 0 grant and 0 loan even. Like, they wouldn't even loan fund us. So they want to help us. I mean, that's why they came down today, to kind of explain this to us in their language and decide, how we can, what can we do to capitalize. So if we roll what Chris calls Phase 1 Main Street, so from Highland Street south, right, which is already appropriated money, all the way around to Warren Street, water and sewer. If we roll that together with Foster Street in terms of their funding review, they think they can get us the loan money, no grant money.
Well, then what's the point?
Well, he does think, he is Eric Law, who was Jonathan Harry's Eric
Yeah, I don't
Law.
think we've ever dealt with Eric before.
He was very impressive today.
Good.
I guess I had met him in the past, and I had talked to him on the phone, I did remember that, but he was helpful in explaining all this stuff to us. We thought that we could probably get local funding at a cheaper rate, but not out 30 years. And that's probably true. They would probably go 10 or 15 years, a local bank, but not the low USDA rate for 30. If we want to keep the expense at a low cash flow for that many years. And then, this gets complicated a little bit. What we were quickly learning was, well, geez, we have projects that are sort of, on deck. We could have rolled more projects into this application and probably been able to get the funding with some grants. But they said the sort of the sweet number is $5 to $6 million. And if we wanted to do Main Street 2, Phase 2, which is from Foster Street here down to
Which is traffic circle.
traffic
Highland,
circle,
yeah.
right, because then the sewer part goes all the way to the plant. That and whatever else we might have, Holderness, water line, for instance, or other projects that we have, kind of ready to go in the master plan, that we would be able to get grant and loan funding, probably at the rate of 25%.
If some of these projects are not imminent, not shovel-ready per se, how does that work?
Well,
Because Foster Street's
yeah, Foster Street's ready to
shovel-ready.
go, and Chris asked them, and they said we could divide the bidding and the contracting, so we wouldn't have to do Main Street Phase 1 now.
Yeah,
We
you can
do it when
you
we're
can
ready.
include it in the funding package. You can include those 2 projects in the funding package, but still do Main Street or, bid Main Street next year.
So
As part of
when
the same,
would we begin paying on the,
once construction is complete.
for all the projects?
Yes.
Yeah, we wouldn't, we would probably have funding, interim funding, and we'd close on Foster Street with USDARD and start paying them the following year. And then we go through the same process with South Main,
Okay,
because we wouldn't pay on South Main
if we haven't,
yet.
right, okay.
So
It was it was 5 years as well, was the...
Well, once they approve projects, they said ideally they want to get it going in 2 years, but the rule is 5, so there's a little wiggle room there, and that's the
Okay.
length of bonding authority too, before that expires, so that works out. We,
So we're fine. I
We
mean,
kinda
we can go to bid on Foster Street
As
and
long as you include Foster and Main Street in the same funding package.
so
Right.
they're willing to go back to Washington if the board now tonight decides, yes, let's take this recommendation and include Main Street Phase 1 with Foster. They'll go and see if they can get the loan funding. And I said, we probably could get a pretty good rate at the bank. And they made a pretty good argument that and, you know, we haven't gone to the bank, but that we wouldn't get that lower rate out over 30 years. So I guess it would depend on how long we wanted to amortize something. You
Right.
know, a low rate at the bank for 10 or 15 years, or a little bit higher rate, but still lower than the bank for USDA-RD for 30 years, and keep the impact on the rates lower,
Right.
you know. So we said we would tell you all of that tonight and let you ask questions and you get back to them tomorrow. And in the meantime, they thought they would be able to get word back to us before July 1st. And if you want to do it that way and they get permission to fund the loan with Main Street rolled in, then there'd be a signing meeting, which you would have to come to probably over the early part of July.
How much more do we have to do to get Main Street's info ready to go to them?
It's already.
No, it's
It's
all,
done.
yeah,
It's
because we
already
did the
done.
pre-planning.
The
with it.
application went in as Main Street and Foster Street together.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
So it's
So it's done, they're ready to go.
it's
as far
done.
as-
We just have to give them approval to
You just have to
seek
sign it.
funding.
Yeah.
To roll
Yes.
it together,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, so the application went in, the two of them
That's
together.
right, yeah.
And now they just have to, they're going to verify, you know, they're taking their package to DC to say, all right, here it is, here's what it is, you know, what can we get, what's the rate and the obligation stuff. So they'll get information back from DC, yep, says it's good, you're getting it at whatever percentage the loan is gonna be at, and whatever terms you're looking at as far as the length of the loan.
Yeah, the only concern would be the difference in interest that we're paying back.
Right,
Yeah, and that's be something that you guys could probably get your hands on,
yeah,
you know,
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
readily.
that's a pretty quick phone
Yeah.
call to
Yeah.
Meredith Village and
Yeah.
yeah,
our normal.
yeah. But we'd have to compare it over
Right.
over 30 years. Plus, the other thing is with USDA-RD, we can pay it off early if we want to. There's no
And there's no
penalty.
penalty. Well,
Yeah.
Meredith Village is usually that way
Yeah,
too. We have
true.
a couple, it's only the bond bank that we can't
Yep.
pay it off early, so.
Well, given the CIP for the next 8 to 10 years, and we're going to be taking on a lot more debt.
Right.
I mean, it seems to me like strategically, we're still in a low rate environment. We benefit from, at least initially, running out a longer term, and without the prepayment penalty, we can rein that in or accelerate the payment if we feel that's necessary, or as we periodically evaluate our loans. So I'm not seeing
I don't
any
see a
downside here to.
Yeah, they want, I mean, I
Going
wished I
this
had this
path.
meeting 2 years ago. It was
Yeah, very
really helpful,
educational.
but I think their rules are changing and tightening too, and their funding is uncertain now.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because
Sunny
their
Purdue.
2017 funds, they've got that and they know what's going
What's
on.
available, right.
Next year, come
Could be
October,
drastically
come October
different.
1st, it could be
Right.
very different.
Right.
The other
So-
thing I learned today, and I don't know if you folks know this, but sewer money is a lot easier for them to award than water money. That's why we got
Makes sense
45%.
in a way.
Yeah, it was based off of our rates too,
Our
because our
rates.
rates for sewer are higher,
Higher,
which
right.
is more of a burden on the district.
Right.
So they're saying that's a higher risk for
Yeah.
the ratepayers to take on more on the sewer side than on the water side. So if we could bundle packages with water and sewer
Yep.
together,
Gives us a
whereas this
better-
project on Foster Street was mostly
Just
just
water.
water.
The other thing he
That
said,
would be
Jonathan Harry,
favorable.
Eric Law has a good glass half full perspective of things, and he said, you should be happy because according to their data, you don't need the grant. Like our community doesn't need it. You're in better shape than other communities. So,
That's nice, but no.
but for this project, it probably means $150,000
Right.
worth
Yeah.
of. So,
That's funny.
I said, all right, well, I'll tell the board that.
Jeez, that's nice, thanks.
Yes. But
So,
what,
but
what it does do, and moving forward too, is if you encumber these $2 million worth of projects, the next set of projects already has this, you're already
Right.
$2 million farther into a project, so you're probably going to get, this next set will end up getting pushed into that grant bond.
Cool.
The other couple of things to know is that DOT didn't get the contract for their part of the project, going over the railroad tracks through governor and council, or they didn't take it. There was some bureaucratic glitch, or it was a high bid and they have to, do their
There was a thing.
Going to governor and council is a bureaucratic chore, let me just put it that way. So they're not going back to GNC until the 19th of July, which actually gives us time to get the approval from RD and
Yep.
then put it out to bid and, try to dovetail it with them somehow. And if we have worst case scenarios or, delays that take us into the fall, Chris, I think your idea was to do the sleeving under the railroad tracks while they have that open. That's the whole idea
Right.
of dovetailing with DOT, and then do the other work in another year, but that wouldn't be preferred. If we could go from September through October, and be
Right.
done and close it up and pave it, that would be a lot better. But if it gets later than that, we might, we can regroup, reevaluate.
So if the sleeve is in place, then it's not, but with that objective, then or that completion, we can come back and it doesn't really cost us that much additional to,
No, yeah, from a timing perspective between the two projects, the getting the sleeve in place without the tracks there, so we don't have to jack. The difference in cost really is the pipe jacking. If you had to do it under an active track or under the tracks, that's going to be 10 times more expensive.
I see.
That component of it's going to be 10 times more expensive than it would be to just because
Open trench.
their contractor's actually is going to be responsible for removing the tracks and removing the ballast. And we'll come in and we'll do an open trench, put a sleeve in place, flow fill around that up to the ballast,
And
railroad
they take
ballast,
care of
and then they take care of the rest of it.
Right.
There. So it's having that coordination piece really is a financial benefit.
We need
to
a
them.
rock.
We need boat bumpers.
We need a rock.
Yeah.
Financial benefit to the district
Mhm.
for sure. So
Yes.
having that piece of the coordination, and then really from a contract standpoint, other than that component of it can be managed in the fall and the spring, however it needs to happen. That can get juggled.
So that's about everything we know right now about Foster Street.
Yeah. So,
So
as
do
far
you need
as
a motion?
yes.
I would say, yeah, a motion to partner with USDA RD for financing for Main Street and Foster Street.
Steve?
So moved.
Excellent.
I guess I made the motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, great.
Cool.
But yeah, Mel and I and Chris will get together as well, and Mike Terrio, to try to plan next year's, so we can get, the most value out
For
of
the
our
bucks,
projects
right,
that we
exactly.
can.
Mm-hmm.
So that means putting additional projects on the warrant potentially for the next 3 or 4 years.
The trick is, and it's easy to do, it's just got to be on the warrant. We could have rolled phase 2 in, but we didn't think we needed to at this
Right.
point. We've been taking off bites, but for funding, it would be better to take a
Yeah, big
bigger
chunk.
bite. Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
So
Well, this
Chris is here now. If you want to ask him anything before
No, I think
before he goes.
As far as what's been presented, I think it's very clear, so
Yeah.
appreciate this.
Good. And yeah, so just a quick summary on some of the other things. The sewer asset management work is going to kick off probably this coming month. We'll be out doing manual inspections and working on level of service and a lot of the other things that we've done with some on the water side with the horizontal collection system on the sewer side. And then hopefully next year we'll do the same thing for the vertical infrastructure. So,
The pump stations.
yeah.
So horizontal in 17, vertical in 18.
It's all on that board. It's on that sheet.
All on the board.
I have to keep it straight somehow.
Yeah, and so hopefully we'll be able to take a piece of the vertical, the money associated with the vertical structure for both the water and the sewer and dovetail that into purchasing the asset management software, the elements. Should be able to make that reality. Should be good.
Cool.
You want to stick around?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Thanks very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Nice to
Chris.
see you again.
Yes, Pleased to meet you. Yes.
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you, Steve.
Nice spending the day with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
See you.
Talk to you.
Have a good one.
Don't forget your clipboard. Yeah, it's on,
And
it's on the
and
chair.
plans and all your fun stuff.
Yeah. Clipboard's there. He already forgot that once today.
The plans are for you, Jason.
So this is one purchase order and then,
Oh, the audit management
oh,
letter?
thank you, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. There's two things. Last week when you signed the workers' comp, there was one more page to
Oh.
sign.
Okay.
No worries, because it's not late.
No motion or anything?
Nope, it's all been moved. Chris just missed
Okay.
a signature spot.
Yeah.
And this audit management letter, this is just saying to the auditor, we've given him everything to the best of our ability accurately, and we've given it all to you. We don't know of any
Anything hidden
material,
anywhere.
anything bad. And they want the chief executive officer to sign, which is really the board chair, not me.
Okay.
So I've been
Okay,
happy
let
to,
me
but
speed read this. and-
yeah, you can speed read it.
Okay.
We do these every year.
Right, yeah, I seem to recall that you were on the hook last year.
I was.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
Oh, yeah, probably. But, you know, it never hurts.
Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion that we have Chris Woods as chair sign the audit management letter. Melanson Heath.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye. Do we have our audit back yet?
Nope. Nope. And I think in one respect, it's a good thing, because we're just in the process of getting another $27,000 in reimbursement from RD for the
Okay.
for the sewer main, and that will go towards our fund balance, I think. You know,
Okay.
that if it was unexpected, I thought that was long since in, that $27,000. I thought it was already in,
Yeah.
but Mike Terrio just kind of caught up with getting the reimbursement request in. So it's been approved, it's in the pipe, it's coming. So
Okay.
we need to tell the auditor that, so I'm just as glad we don't have the audit, in
Okay.
a sense. It's all clean, though, the draft came, it's all clean, and we have substantial fund balance on
Great.
both water and sewer, so,
That's good.
yeah. We
All
might
good.
be going into an era of clean, slick audits, not slick in a
I know what you mean.
slippery sense, but clean and
And
Stream-
good. and
streamlined.
smooth
streamlined, yeah.
and
thorough,
Streamlined,
yeah.
that's a
I'm
better word.
hoping, that's what we want to do.
Well,
All right.
it's like purchase
Somebody's
rec.
getting a new
Yep.
computer.
So, this was at my request. Kim's computer has been acting up and her software is old. I forget what program she's using, but I asked her to get a purchase order ready to get her a new station, get it set up and give her whatever the latest Windows
10.
configuration
What do you
is.
mean,
Yeah.
the office?
Yeah,
product?
hers crashed and they brought it back up, but she needs the
Yeah.
tools. That's
Yeah,
her tool.
and you can't work with a crashing computer.
Right.
All right.
It's very scary. Eventually, you're gonna lose your data, so.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we approve the purchase rec for 1790 for a new computer.
Yeah.
So moved.
And just to
All those in
remind you too,
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
we had collapsed, I think it was $2,000 from an old computer reserve account into our cash.
Right.
So,
It's-
there's the money,
Okay,
basically, there's the purchase
Great.
order.
so while we're signing, any more public, I'll make a motion.
No, ready to go into non-public.
Okay, I make a motion, we go into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, Section 2D on the Holderness lease.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.